The Scandalous and Shocking Life of George Carlin. George Carlin was not just a comedian, he was a provocateur, a cultural critic, and a voice that dared to challenge the status quo. His career spanned decades, during which he pushed the boundaries of free speech and societal norms. While many admired him for his wit and fearlessness, others were scandalized by his outspoken views. Here are 10 of the most scandalous and shocking facts about George Carlin, revealing the man behind the mic. Fact number 1. The troubled youth and complex personal life. George Carlin was born on May 12, 1937, in Manhattan, New York City, to an Irish-American family. His father, Patrick Carlin, was a national advertising manager for the New York Sun, but his alcoholism led to him abandoning the family when George was only 2 months old. Raised by his mother, Mary Beery Carlin, George developed a rebellious nature, often clashing with authority figures. He was expelled from multiple schools, including Cardinal Hayes High School. Reflecting on his youth, Carlin once said, "I was perpetually angry and searching for meaning in a world that didn't seem to make sense." At the age of 17, Carlin enlisted in the U.S. Air Force as a radar technician. His time in the military was marked by the same rebellious streak, leading to numerous reprimands and eventually a discharge after 3 years. Despite his challenges in the military, this period was also when Carlin began to develop his interest in comedy, performing in local clubs and honing his craft. In 1961, Carlin married Brenda Hasbrook, whom he met during his stand-up tours. They had one daughter, Kelly Carlin, born in 1963. Brenda was a stabilizing force in Carlin's life despite his escalating struggles with cocaine and alcohol. His addictions often caused tension in their marriage, but the couple remained together until Brenda's death from liver cancer in 1997. A year later, Carlin married Sally Wade, with whom he shared a more peaceful chapter of his life. However, his earlier life's turbulence continued to shape his sharp, often cynical comedic style. Number 2. The 7 Dirty Words controversy. In 1972, George Carlin released his iconic routine 7 Words You Can Never Say on Television on his album Class Clown. The routine, which humorously listed and explored 7 obscene words, led to his arrest in Milwaukee for violating obscenity laws. Carlin remarked about this experience, saying, "I knew I was pushing boundaries, but someone had to point out the absurdity of it all." This routine sparked the Supreme Court case FCC v. Pacifica Foundation in 1978, where the court ruled 5-4 in favor of the FCC's authority to regulate indecent broadcasts, setting a precedent for broadcast censorship. Carlin's routine was groundbreaking, challenging societal norms about language and censorship, and cementing his reputation as a daring and influential voice in comedy. Number 3. Carlin's anti-religion rants. Carlin's critiques of organized religion were a defining element of his comedy. He often referred to religion as the biggest bullshit story ever told, attacking its influence on society and politics. His routine "Religion is Bullshit" was particularly provocative, drawing heavy criticism from religious communities. Carlin was unapologetic, asserting that "I don't believe in God because I don't believe in Mother Goose," and calling out what he saw as the hypocrisy and exploitation within religious institutions. He believed that religion has convinced people that there's an invisible man, living in the sky, who watches everything you do. His fearless stance on this topic made him a polarizing figure, but also won him a dedicated following among atheists and skeptics. Number 4. The drug-fueled decades. Carlin's struggle with substance abuse was an open secret in the entertainment industry. He began using cocaine in the 1970s, a habit that became intertwined with his performance routine. In his autobiography Last Words, Carlin admitted to regularly using cocaine before shows, leading to increasingly erratic behavior. He famously joked, "I used to do a lot of cocaine. I'd get in a little room with a mirror and just blow my brain out." Despite the personal and professional toll, he continued his drug use until the mid-1980s. Carlin eventually quit, motivated by the desire to continue his career and avoid the health consequences that had already begun to manifest. His candidness about these struggles added depth to his public persona and became a recurring theme in his later comedy. Number 5. The Band from Las Vegas. In 2004, During a performance at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Carlin delivered a routine that harshly criticized the city and its residents, calling his audience ignorant, greedy, overfed morons. This led to his immediate dismissal and an unofficial ban from performing at the MGM Grand. Carlin reflected on the incident, saying, "Las Vegas is a place where people come to lose their mind and their money, and I wasn't about to sugarcoat that." His biting critique was a reflection of his disdain for consumer culture and what he saw as the superficiality of Las Vegas. The incident was a clear demonstration of Carlin's unwillingness to compromise his views, even at the cost of professional opportunities. Despite the controversy, the ban only enhanced his reputation as a comedian who spoke his mind without fear of the consequences. Number 6. The arrest for performing in Lenny Bruce's honor. In 1969, George Carlin was arrested in Los Angeles after he refused to show identification during the arrest of Lenny Bruce, a comedian known for his battles with obscenity charges. Carlin was in the audience when Bruce was arrested for using obscenity in his act, and Carlin's refusal to cooperate with the police was an act of solidarity with his idol. Carlin later reflected on this, saying, "Lenny was a hero. He took the hits so that people like me could have the freedom to say what needed to be said." This arrest aligned Carlin with the counterculture movement and marked a turning point in his career, where he fully embraced his role as a provocateur and defender of free speech. This incident reinforced Carlin's commitment to challenging authority, a theme that would define much of his work. Number 7. The HBO specials and unfiltered criticism. Carlin's HBO specials were crucial in shaping his legacy as a comedian unafraid to tackle controversial issues. His 1992 special Jammin' in New York, recorded just days after the LA riots, addressed racial tensions, the Gulf War, and environmental degradation with sharp, unfiltered commentary. Carlin's ability to confront these issues head-on, without pandering to his audience, earned him both acclaim and criticism. "I'm not here to entertain," Carlin once said, "I'm here to challenge your perceptions." His HBO specials, including You Are All Diseased, 1999, and Complaints and Grievances, 2001, are remembered for their unapologetic critiques of American society, highlighting Carlin's role as a social commentator as much as a comedian. Number 8. The cynical outlook in later years. As George Carlin grew older, his comedy became increasingly dark and cynical, reflecting his disillusionment with the world. In his final special, It's Bad for Ya, 2008, Carlin lambasted American culture, criticizing everything from the concept of rights to the education system. He famously said, "It's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it." His pessimistic outlook resonated with audiences who saw Carlin as a voice of reason amidst growing societal discontent. His later years were marked by this deepening cynicism, which, while divisive, solidified his legacy as a comedian unafraid to challenge and provoke thought on the darker aspects of life. Number 9. The difficult to work with label. George Carlin's reputation for being difficult to work with stemmed from his insistence on creative control and his perfectionist nature. He often clashed with producers and network executives over content, refusing to compromise his vision. Carlin once remarked, "I'm not difficult, I just know what I want, and I won't settle for less." His demanding standards were evident in his meticulous preparation for performances and his refusal to alter his material to suit the preferences of others. While this made him a challenging collaborator, it also ensured the integrity of his work, contributing to the sharpness and originality that defined his career. Carlin's insistence on artistic control was a double-edged sword, earning him both respect and frustration within the industry. Number 10. The infamous heart attack incident and death. George Carlin suffered multiple heart attacks throughout his life, the first in 1978 and another notable one in 1982 while performing in Las Vegas. Despite the severity of the situation, Carlin finished his set before calmly asking for medical assistance, demonstrating his commitment to his craft. This incident added to his mythos as a performer who would not let even a heart attack interrupt his show. Carlin himself joked, "If I die, it'll be doing what I love, making people laugh, even if they're the last thing I hear." Carlin continued to perform until his final days, but his health issues eventually caught up with him. He passed away on June 22, 2008, at the age of 71, from heart failure. His death marked the end of an era for American comedy, leaving behind a legacy of fearless, incisive humor that continues to influence comedians today.